Hi folks, this is a screencast welcoming you to the course for UX1, and I want to go over it a little bit about what is required and why we're doing what we're doing. But what I'll be doing throughout the course, if you jump in here, you probably see the announcement page first. You'll probably click on lessons and you'll see that a lot of lessons are not available yet. That's because the course is getting updated with new content. So that said, you'll be the benefactors of having ultimately a fresh course, which is nice. So on Sunday nights, or Monday nights rather, when the course weekends, we'll be releasing the concurrent courses. Now, in other UCSD courses, you probably have seen the old PowerPoint with audio injected into it. And we've been allowed this summer to remove that, which I'm excited about. So you'll be hearing a lot more from me regarding this, and my content will be more like what I'm giving you right now, where I'm simply doing a screencast and talking to you and giving you information without being restricted to that PowerPoint. So when you come to this site and you're here, almost everyone will have some experience. A lot of you will have taken Principles of UX already, and you probably know some peers in the class. But inside the syllabus here, this is going to be your guide, and your text is a project guide to UX design. So what this course is a second course, but in a chain of 5. And if you're familiar with the certificate program where you're actually enrolled in it, which you may not be, my goal for this course is to get you 5 portfolio pieces. And this comes from our professional advisory committee, who has recommended that we have at least 1 case study in our portfolio. So what we need to do is understand a few more modern approaches like Waterfall, Agile, and Lean UX. And these are management techniques. And the project guide for UX design actually covers project management in addition to the project lifecycle. So if you think of the UX guide or the UX book from Principles, this is an extension of that. So it's an excellent book. So let's talk about what's required, because I know it's probably at the forefront of your mind. We have 2 case studies required. So the first one will be done at the end of week 3. And the second will be done at the end of week 6. And after that is done, you will choose one of those case studies, one of the ones that you like what you did. And in those case studies, you'll be identifying problems with your target and offering solutions to those problems. So in week 7, when we will be deciding on which case study will make the best portfolio pieces. And what we'll do is wireframe those solutions, and then we'll add aesthetics, or we'll add interactivity rather, to those wireframes, and then we'll add aesthetics for the final project. So 600 points, there'll be 10 discussions. Everything will be related to you and your PowerPoint. I mean, you and your portfolio. So on your first assignment, for example, we'll be choosing the case study. The second assignment will be listing problems with the target of that case study. Third will be the case study compiled. I'll give you feedback, and then we'll start the same iteration. Week 4, choose another case study. Week 5, find problems with that second case study. And week 6 will be the case study due. So that's how you get the A in this course, is really understanding what our target is, and our target is for a good portfolio. So let's take that into lesson 1 real quick, and I want to show you what's available. So you'll see sometime, well, you won't see this, but when I do screencasts, you'll see the items are not available. That means it's getting replaced. So what I've done is break up that traditional Power presentation with videos, which are right here. So you should see a lot of YouTube videos here. And the point is, like this week you'll be asked to choose your first case study. So you're going to be looking at case studies online. In fact, your discussion, find a case study online that applies to website or software. Try to find a study building a stronger week. We can learn from either end of the spectrum. Share the link with us and explain why it's stronger week. Keep the following in mind. Does the writer have a bias? Does the study identify a problem and offer a solution? Will the solution solve a problem? So this sets us up into the mindset of what this course is about. And it does not have to be a lot of work. It'll be some work, but it doesn't have to be extensive. In fact, that's why the first 2 assignments lead into the case study, because you can use the feedback from the first 2 to build the third. And I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so your assignment this week is to do this. Please submit your idea for first case study here. Now, all of our assignments, just like all the other courses, are due after the first week. So, because our course starts on Tuesday, we will have the due date at midnight on Tuesday morning. So, that is our first assignment. When we go back to lesson 1 here, let me make sure that this is all in order so we can see it. So you'll be reading chapters 1 and 2 of Project Guide to UX Design. Chapter 1 is, I think, great, and chapter 2 shows the project ecosystem. When we get down the road, we'll be covering agile development and things like that. Like we go right from proposals and projects to tests and our user interface design, then flat UI. Then we'll do agile, waterfall, user iterative design, and then we'll cover wireframing and prototyping. But the text in the background is meant to add a rich content to your experience, so that when you do get asked about these project management techniques, you'll be able to answer those questions in an interview. Now, a lot of the people in our program right now, let me make sure this goes in order here. A lot of the people in our program are in field and already experiencing agile and waterfall development or lean UX, one of the three. So they'll be great to network with, and we'll have fun in the discussions with that. So take a couple minutes, introduce yourself. Now, what I want to talk about specifically is case studies. Now, this is a case study example 1 from a past student. You'll see a lot of these during the course, I hope. And this is, you'll see it's only 7 pages. Now, this one, I think, is very solid. I'm not saying it's an A. I won't give out the grade. But here's what I like. If you think about how this is organized, it shows a problem, why it is a problem, a solution, and why it is a solution. So this navigation is really solid as far as being concise, working smarter, not harder. And if the goal is to show ourselves as critical thinkers and UX analysts, people who can identify problems and solve them, this is going to be key. Now, the second case study that I'm showing you from a student is an example of a heavy workload. So let's see if we can bounce to that real quick. And you'll see immediately we have a screenshot from Trader Joe's, but this really is not necessary. This is to increase digital presence through innovation. Now, if we go through, we've got some heavy writing and a lot of buildup, which is okay. That's good if it paints a picture and helps you. But you have to remember, these case studies are going to be in your portfolio. And that means it's going to be an online digital entity, because there is a portfolio course in this certificate program where you'll be asked to put together a website that displays your skills. So as we scroll through this, you'll see it's just a lot of work. And we don't get to the point, we don't get to the actual problems and solutions until the end. I mean, we're really at a loss here as far as 12 pages. There's no length requirement on these, by the way. But I'm going to go ahead and save this so we can get to visualize all of it instead of seeing it through just that PDF viewer. So we'll load this, but you can see it's a lot of work. And when you read it, ask yourself, how is this showing our customer? How is this showing that student's skills as far as being a critical analyst? And you have to understand that this is really going to a portfolio piece. So it's a heavy file. It's a lot. It's not going to translate well to the web. So you have to think about that. And I'm going to reduce the zoom here. And you see how heavy a file it is. I'm on a relatively new Mac, and you can see that it does not have the processing power to even take care of this. There is no point in having this image here. There's just no point. The history, is it important? Maybe, but what does it have to do with this student's ability to critically solve problems? So let me shut this off here. As we scroll through, though, I encourage you to read this and ask yourself, is it overkill? Is it too much? And I would say that yes, it is. So I want to show this not as an example of greatness. I want you to be really critical about it. What shows this person as a UX professional? We'll talk about it more down the road here, but let me get out of this section. But that case study is great to learn from, like what could have been stripped. So as you go through here, the last four things are videos, and the videos are for different potential targets for this first case study. When you actually look at the assignment, and I'll go right to that assignment real quick. I'm going to show you the case study assignment real quick because you're going to want to see it. And I'll open this up or move it to the week 1 folder so you're not stressed by it. Excuse me, that's not the right one here. I need to get to, here it is right here, lesson 3. I apologize. This is one of the issues of dealing with heavy screencasts, but I think that this method is going to be a lot more satisfying to you than going through one of those PowerPoints that can be a little bit tedious and very, very tough to update. When we did those PowerPoints, we'd have to run them through our AV department. Let's hopefully get the word up here. But this case study assignment basically is going to ask you to choose from, I'm actually going to just copy it over and move it to week 1. So this will be in lesson 1 for you as well, but it's not due till week 3. So anyway, let's, I want to make sure that this gets opened up. And if Word doesn't open for me, that's okay. That it happens. Part of the reason is because I'm screencasting right now, and that has a high amount of processor. There we go. So basically back to lesson 1. So this week, wait for the announcements, go through lesson 1, look at the analysis of branding, marketing, software, and e-commerce, and come up with one of the 4. In other words, a target for one of those 4, because we're going to try to make these case studies a little bit different. In case study 2, you might have something else. On that note, it looks like my case study assignment is not. There it is right there. So basically, choose a website from the first 2 categories of user experience projects presented in week 1, which is basically going to be these 4, the brand, marketing, or software and e-commerce. So these are kind of grouped together, brand, site, and marketing, and software and e-commerce are kind of grouped together. So you can choose any one of the 4. And obviously you can reach out to me anytime you want because this can be kind of confusing, but I don't want to see a 50-page case study because it's not going to translate well to the web. All I care about in this is your portfolio. And that's why we're going to take an ample amount of time this week in the discussions and taking a good look, because you're going to see a ton of case studies this week in the discussion that are just case studies from companies that are just bragging about themselves and their process. They're not critical case studies of anything, and they're very biased. So, but we'll see you in the discussion boards. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.